Okay, let's understand who the Scrum Master is. So typically, the project managers assume this responsibility. The Scrum Master has to be, well versed with the agile methods, the Scrum approach, etc. The Scrum Master, also he understands the blockers for the team because he understands this from the Scrum meetings that he arranges, and he works on removing these obstacles one by one. He may have to speak with multiple parties, as I told before, and he can do it very easily because he has this level of influence over the power. Right, a project manager has contacts in the top management also. We have understood the influence of a project manager. So because he's quite influential, he can, he is capable of removing these impediments and moving the tasks ahead. So we have learned how he facilitates multiple meetings here. So different 3 or 4 meetings that we discussed, the Scrum Master is the owner of those meetings, or the facilitator, or the host of these meetings. The product owner, he is also responsible to answer the Scrum Master. So although we know that product owner is a expert in his own field, but when it comes to project updates, even product owner has to answer to the Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is basically the project owner. So he will be questioned if something goes wrong in the project. And when we talk about questioning, when Scrum Master takes a decision, even a CEO cannot, alter it. So he is that powerful. He has sole responsibility to decide about what is going to happen, within that sprint. Moving on, next thing is the Scrum development team. This is not a single team. When I say single team, this is not just the purchase team. This is not just the logistics team. This is not just the production team or quality team. It's a cross-functional team, right? So everybody from multiple functions, they come together, they join hands together to form this development team in the Scrum. So we have seen so far in the examples that we have quoted before, stating how some of the stakeholders get quite busy. So in this Scrum methodology, this is not so much encouraged, right? So the multiple projects handled by one single stakeholder, that still happens in the organizations, but preferably not, right? So the Scrum recommends that the stakeholder has to work only on one project and not on the second one. So what is this Bruce Tuckman model? I have included only this model because in every exam that we see, we will get at least one question about this Bruce Tuckman model, a very important model for the exam. So at least one question, please expect even in the exam to come. So what happens here? We have 5 stages of a team because we are talking about the development team here. We have 5 stages of a team in this Bruce Tuckman model. What are those 5 stages? First stage is the forming stage. I will just use the initials. So what happens in the forming stage is this is a very early stage of the team, right? So this is a stage of formation where people are very new to each other. There may not be so many disputes between each team. So that is the forming stage, and then comes the storming stage. What happens in the storming stage? People are fighting for power. So because the leadership within the team, who has to listen to whom? The fight for the power, that is actually seen here, about different working differences, some decision differences because of different cultures, or maybe R&D team tries to influence the purchase team, or the purchase team tries to influence the R&D team. So such storms keep happening in this stage. So this is called the storming stage. And then there is norming stage. I'm representing it with N. Norming stage, this is when the things start to settle down. What happens here is, after the storming, the people within the team, they start understanding each other. The differences are cleared out, and then they understand each other's working styles. So the fights are all calmed down, and then there is a harmony, growing. It is still not found, but it is growing within the team. And then the next stage is a performing stage. So what happens here? This is like the peak stage of the project where there is nice harmony between the team members. So everybody is happy or understanding about the decisions about each other. If a production team says something, the quality team totally accepts this because they understand that the production team has said something with a prior experience, because they know each other now. So that stage of the team is performing stage. So if in case one of the key members here is no longer in the project. So or a new team member has been added, or somebody has left the organization and there is a void. So in these cases, the cycle is again repeated back to the storming stage. So any disturbance in the performing stage, this is very, very important. This you might also attract some questions here. So if any disturbance happens within the performing team, then this performing team is immediately converted to the storming team, not the norming team. Keep that in mind. So again, from the storming team, it will again become norming and then performing. So is this all? No. We have one more stage called adjourning. So what is this adjourning? It's like a stage where the project is closed for XYZ reasons. It could be also a successful closure or unsuccessful closure. So in this case, whatever the team that we have decided here at the stage of forming, that gets totally dissolved, right? So the team no longer exists anymore. So that is called the adjourning stage. So this is this Bruce Tuckman model. So there will definitely be so many questions about this. Like they will quote an example about the behavior of a team. Like they say, so many people in the team are frequently fighting. What stage of the team is this? So we all understand that it is the storming stage of the team. So similarly, a question might come that everybody is in great harmony. What is the stage of this team? So that is a performing team. So such questions are very, very common. So just understand this. Moving, managing team and other roles. We have discussed about who the higher management is. So she is somebody who has authority over the decisions. So a manager who can approve the project or who can stop the project sponsor, they are all within this managing team. They are basically the approving authority. Even the scrum master and the product owner, they are answerable to this managing team. They are not directly contributing to the scrum. Of course, they are out of this scrum sprint, but they have interest in the project because they are investing a lot of money in this. So the product owner and the scrum master, they report to the managing team. When we talk about other roles, they could be the other stakeholders who are not directly contributing. As I quoted a few examples here, they could be consultants. So consultants who are helping out the scrums in understanding different processes, the legal requirements, the technical requirements, the standards, the guidelines, the legal guidelines that are necessary. Those stakeholders are also there in the other roles who support the scrum in one way. And secondly, the customers is included in the other roles because whatever the sprints that we are achieving here, by the product owner and the scrum master, multiple meetings that are going to happen today, there is going to be frequent meetings with the customers. Earlier in the waterfall methodology, this was not the case, right? So when an agile meeting is going on, or the agile approach is being followed by an organization, the customer is aware that my supplier is following this agile methodology and I am allowed to ask them these questions, right? So that is the reason why customers are also preferring for this agile methodology. So the customer is in one way also involved in the agile methodology or the scrum method. And I think it is not written on the board here, but other roles, we could also include the virtual stakeholders, the stakeholders who are not physically present in that location, but they are remotely located. So the consultants could be remotely located. Even the team members can be remotely located. We cannot disregard the virtual team members. Now with the work from home becoming more and more